Hey everyone, this is Michael again and coming at you with another video. And since this is December 30th and tomorrow is the last day of 2024, it's about time for me to do my top 10 favorite films of this year. And I haven't done a top 10 favorite films of, recent past years in a while, but just thought I would get back into doing these because these are, very fun to do. And just want to tell you all my top 10 favorite films that I enjoyed this year and that have made my list. Only two films that I saw this year are honorable mentions, and I only saw one awful film, which I will put this in the video as well. But this is a good list that I put together. You may not agree with my list, but that this is my list. This is my opinion and the films that I liked for this year. If you want to, post your favorites of the year for films, put it in the comments section down below. But let's get started. I'm going to start with the worst film that I've seen this year. Didn't see too many awful films this year. The only film that is on my list for worst this year is Madame Web. Fuck Madame Web. That movie is an abomination of epic proportions. A lot of people don't even know possibly what Madame Web is, but Dakota Johnson ends up starring in the film as Cassandra Webb, who is a paramedic, and she develops these psychic abilities as a clairvoyant, and she ends up seeing future events within the spider world. And Dakota Johnson, I thought, was just very in this film. Sydney Sweeney plays a nerd with glasses. She's in this. The only redeeming quality of this film, in my opinion, was the villain, Ezekiel Sims, played by Tahar Rahim. I thought the suit that he wore, it looked pretty cool, but everything else just absolutely awful, absolutely forgettable. You have a scene where Sydney Sweeney and Isabel Merced as Anya and Celeste O'Connor plays Maddie, where they're in a diner and they're dancing to Britney Spears' song Toxic. And I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah, fuck Madame Web. Movie's absolutely fucking awful. Hell, I enjoyed Kraven the Hunter way better than this film. And Kraven the Hunter is a much better film. I know there are people that say, oh, Kraven the Hunter sucks and it's awful. I thought Kraven the Hunter was a decent film. I liked it much, much better than Madame Web. And yes, Morbius is a guilty pleasure for me, but Kraven the Hunter is a much better film than Morbius. So, but fuck Madame Web. Awful fucking piece of shit. So that's the only worst film that I've seen this year. I did not see, Borderlands, which I heard is borderline awful, or any other awful film that came out. So I'm going to now start with the two honorable mentions. The first one is The Beekeeper, which is a Jason Statham film. Also has Josh Hutcherson in it. You have Felicia Rashad, Jeremy Irons, and I really enjoyed this film. I had fun with it. My buddy Luke Ponto ended up suggesting this film to me to watch, and it came on TV on like MGM Plus on that channel, and I watched it, and I thought it was awesome, which I also have the 4K of it as well. Basically, Jason Statham plays Adam Clay, who is a retired operative, and he lives on his landlady's barn, and he works as a beekeeper. and pretty much Jason Statham's character sets out for revenge because his landlady becomes the victim of a phishing scam that steals millions of dollars from a charity that she runs. So Jason Statham ends up going after those scamming guys, and it's just fun, very action packed. The action scenes I thought were very good. So The Beekeeper is a fun film. If you like Jason Statham, definitely give this film a watch. And the film was directed by David Ayer, and he directed Sabotage with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, which I have not seen, but I've heard pretty mixed things about. And he also directed Suicide Squad, the 2016 film, which is a guilty pleasure for me. I enjoy Suicide Squad. And he also directed Fury, which is a very underrated film that I really enjoyed, which starred Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf, Logan Lerman, Michael Pena, John Berthal. Just Fury is a great film. Definitely check it out. But number one, The Beekeeper, honorable mention. Definitely check it out if you guys haven't seen it. And the last honorable mention is a film called Dee Dee, which I really enjoyed. It's a coming-of-age comedy drama that was written, produced, and directed by Sean Wang, and it stars Isaac Wang as his character Chris Wang, who is 13 years old, and they end up calling him, Dee Dee, and he lives in a middle-class neighborhood with, his mother and his grandma, his mother-in-law, and his older sister. And the film takes place in 2008, which, I like that they set that in that time because, in the film you see, Dee Dee going on old school YouTube, and how the old YouTube page end up looking like. And he also, uses MySpace, which anybody who's used MySpace back in the day, I had a MySpace back in the day, way before Facebook became popular. And you see he also uses AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. So that was kind of a throwback, when I was watching the film and seeing that. But one of the things that the Chris character, played by Isaac Wang, he really likes this girl, and he ends up, talking to her on AIM, and they strike up a friendship. So he looks up online, how to kiss a girl. And so he watches a video of it, and he practices kissing on an apple, which was funny. And, he wants to, be a, like a filmmaker. So he ends up filming these guys doing skateboard tricks. But Dee Dee is a film that I would suggest you all check out. It's really enjoyable. And, it's a throwback to, that time in the late 2000s. If you remember, how old school YouTube looked like. And, if you used AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, or MySpace, definitely check it out. It's an independent film. So definitely give it a watch. And Shirley Chan, I thought she did a great job in the role as Dee Dee's mom. Just good performance from her. So, but check out Dee Dee. So those were my two honorable mentions, The Beekeeper and Dee Dee. Now getting into my top 10 favorite films of this year. Coming in at number 10, it is Monkey Man. This is a Dev Patel film that was directed by him, and he wrote the film. He wrote the screenplay along with Paul Anguanola. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and John Coley. And Jordan Peele was one of the producers of the film. Dev Patel stars in it. You also got Sharlto Copley in it. And pretty much basically, Dev Patel, his character has no name in the film. He's just called Kid. And pretty much basically, it's just Dev Patel going around and, getting revenge on these people that murdered his mom. And the action scenes, in this film from Dev Patel are, really good. Just absolute, very good movie. And yes, there are some shaky cam scenes in this, but I didn't mind the shaky cam because I did not see this film in the theater. Like, if I saw this in the theater with the shaky cam, probably would have been, feeling very groggy and just feeling very nauseous. But saw it at home and it didn't bother me. So, but overall, Monkey Man, very good movie. Check it out. Dev Patel did a good job with it. And this is another one. This is another one of the films that was suggested to me by my buddy Luke Ponto. So, yeah, definitely check out Monkey Man. It's my number 10. Number 9, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. This is the long-awaited sequel to Beetlejuice, released in 1988. And, Tim Burton came back and directed this, of course. The screenplay was written by Alfred Gore and Miles Millar. And Michael Keaton reprised his role as Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder reprised her role as Lydia. Catherine O'Hara, of course, reprised her role as Delia. And you find out in this film that Lydia has a daughter named Astrid, played by Jenny Ortega. And just really had a lot of fun with this film. Yes, it's got mixed reviews from people, but just, watching the film, I had such a fun time seeing it. Of course, basically, it follows Lydia, played by Winona Ryder. She's now a mother, of course, and she's struggling to keep her family together. We see that she has a talk show now called Ghost House, which she ends up talking to these people about, how their houses are haunted, and of course, Beetlejuice comes back into play, played by Michael Keaton, which he brought back the wits of the character. But if you enjoyed the original classic Beetlejuice, you would definitely, like this one. So there you go, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, my number 9. Very fun film. Number 8, Venom: The Last Dance. Yes, I enjoy all 3 of the Venom films. First one is very fun. Second one I like, but it could have had a little bit more of carnage in it. You expect, the film to be rated R because carnage in the comics is, very, brutal, and you expect, blood in it. But still, I enjoyed Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Venom: The Last Dance, I thought this was the best of the 3. And, Tom Hardy is just, very good as Eddie Brock. Really enjoy, his portrayal of him. You also have Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is pretty much basically one of the villains in the film. And he's trying to track, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's character, and he wants to try to capture Venom. And just the chemistry between Eddie Brock and Venom in these 3 films, I really like. They're just so much fun when they're on screen. You also have Rhys Ifans in the film, who plays Martin Moon. He's a guy that Tom Hardy meets who is a hippie and also an alien enthusiast, where he ends up taking his family to Area 51 to see, aliens. So, but I thought that the film was a nice send off to the Venom character. But really enjoyed Venom: The Last Dance. So that's my number 8. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it. Number 7, Inside Out 2. The sequel to, of course, Inside Out, which came out in 2015, and loved Inside Out 2. I think, in my opinion, this was as good as the first film. To which, in this film, we see Riley. She is now entering high school, and we see, of course, her personified emotions. Inside of her, we see joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. And another emotion comes into play named anxiety. And I think anxiety was, one of the best, characters in the film. And you just, see what, Riley goes through. Now that the character of anxiety comes into play in the film, along with the other emotion characters. But great animation in the film. Amy Poehler reprised her role as Joy, which really loved the character of Joy. You also have Anxiety, of course, voiced by Maya Hawke. And Lewis Black, of course, reprised his role as Anger. But, overall, Inside Out 2, if you enjoyed the first film, you will definitely enjoy this one. So that's Inside Out 2 as my number 7. Number 6 is Twisters. Twisters is a standalone sequel to Twister, and this was a lot of fun. This film was a lot of fun. Saw it in the theater, and just the effects of the Twisters, looked really cool. Really likable characters, with Daisy Edgar Jones as Kate Carter, who is a meteorologist, and she was a former storm chaser. To which, at the beginning of the film, we see her and these storm chasers, and there's a tornado that's coming, and we have her friends end up getting killed because this EF5 ends up coming, and Kate and her friend Javi, who is played by Anthony Ramos, end up surviving that EF5 tornado. And 5 years later, they end up working together, Kate and Javi, just going back to doing storm chasing. But overall, Twisters is a very fun film. If you enjoyed the original Twister, you would definitely get a kick into liking this film. So that's Twisters as my number 6. Now getting into the top 5 here. Number 5, Saturday Night. Saturday Night is the biographical film that is based on, the 90 minutes that went down before Saturday Night Live. Went on the air for the first time on October 11th, 1975. And this film was very fun. I really enjoyed it. Sadly, it didn't do too well at the box office. It had a budget of 25 to 30 million and only made 9 million at the box office. So sadly, it didn't do too well. A lot of people didn't go see it. But this was a very good movie. Gabriel LaBelle as Lorne Michaels. His portrayal of Lorne Michaels was very good. Corey Michael Smith as Chevy Chase. He was very enjoyable as well. He looked the role of Chevy Chase. Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd pretty much stole the film, in my opinion. He just did a really good portrayal of Dan Aykroyd, at that time when he was on SNL. Matt Wood as John Belushi, he looked like John Belushi there. He just has a look of him. So I thought he did a good job. You also have Nicholas Braun, who portrays two characters in the film. He portrays Andy Kaufman and also Jim Henson. And his Andy Kaufman, I thought, was, very good. And he's the second one to portray Andy Kaufman. Of course, Jim Carrey was the first, because Jim Carrey portrayed Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, which I enjoyed that film as well. You also have J.K. Simmons. He portrays Milton Berle there. You also have Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe did good as well. And I liked how the way that the film felt like you were watching a film from the 70s, because you see like all the specs and, pops on the screen, by how it was filmed to make it feel like a film from the 70s. And I thought it captured it really well. But Saturday Night, if you are a fan of SNL, old school SNL from like that time when, it premiered, and, the comedians that were on the show at the time, you would definitely enjoy this film. So that's number 5, Saturday Night. Number 4, Abigail. Abigail is a horror comedy, and it's a vampire film, and it stars Alicia Weir as Abigail. You also have Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Kathryn Newton, Will Catlett, Kevin Durant, the late great Angus Cloud, and Giancarlo Esposito. And pretty much basically the film follows this group of kidnappers who capture Abigail, who is a ballet dancer. So they end up capturing her, and Abigail is the daughter of a powerful underworld figure, and these kidnappers demand $50 million for them to release Abigail. So these kidnappers are unaware that Abigail is also a vampire. And pretty much right from there, all hell breaks loose with these kidnappers finding out that, Abigail is a vampire. But this was a very fun film. Really enjoyed it. Very bloody. You got exploding bodies. And just everybody did, very good in the film. Alicia Weir, as her portrayal of Abigail, was, very good. Melissa Barrera, she was, good as well. And I liked in the scenes where she ended up, connecting with Abigail and talking to her. And pretty much basically she wants to save Abigail from these kidnappers. Dan Stevens, he's an asshole in the film, his character, but he does a good job portraying, an asshole in the film where you just absolutely hate him. Kathryn Newton, it was good to see her in this film. Really enjoyed Kathryn Newton, and she also, later on in the film, spoilers, she actually becomes a vampire, and she makes a really good vampire. So, Kathryn Newton, very fun in this film. It was good to see Kevin Durant in this. Really enjoyed Kevin Durant. He was in this, the FX show that I enjoy called The Strain, which is based on the graphic novels by Guillermo del Toro. So he did good in the film. And also the late great Angus Cloud. It's good to see him in this. Sadly, he passed away last year, but he did a good job. And it's always good to see Giancarlo Esposito, uh, there, where of course he just plays a villain. But Giancarlo Esposito, he does, a good job portraying villains in film and TV. So Abigail, if you haven't seen the film, definitely check it out. It's very fun, and it's very bloody, like I said, and very funny as well. So that's my number 4, Abigail. Number 3, The Substance. The Substance, of course, is a film directed by Coralie Farragut. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She also wrote the film and also produced it. And the film stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, and it follows Demi Moore, who plays Elizabeth Sparkle, who is this famed celebrity, and she ends up being fired from a show by her producer, who is played by Dennis Quaid, because of her age. And she takes a personal taking to that, and she uses this drug that's out on the black market, and this drug is called a substance, which creates a much younger version of yourself. So she ends up taking it, and she ends up becoming Sue, who is played by Margaret Qualley. And what Margaret Qualley's character doesn't know, like later on in the film, is that there are these side effects that happen with the substance, because she ends up becoming popular. Sue ends up becoming popular, and she ends up getting her own aerobic show. And everybody starts loving Margaret Qualley's character, Sue. And then later on, it takes a downfall, which, I won't get into, because this is a film that you guys have definitely got to check out. It is a great film. It's going to be a future classic. But keep in mind, it's gross. Some scenes, are disgusting. But still, it is worth the watch. So it's very well shot. But The Substance, definitely check it out. It's a body horror film. So I would highly recommend it. So that's my number 3. Getting into the top 2 here. Both of these films were tied for me at number 1. But I had to put these as my number 1 and my number 2. So at number 2, it is Wicked. Wicked is amazing. It is a masterpiece. It looks great. Very well shot. Great songs. Ariana Grande as Glinda and Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. They just had amazing chemistry together. Really enjoy when they are on screen. And both of them were the highlights of this film. You also have Peter Dinklage, who does the voice of Dr. Dillerman, who is the talking goat. And he's also a history professor at the university where Glinda and Elphaba, attend. And I didn't know it was Peter Dinklage voicing him at first, until the credits. But it's really funny when he tries to pronounce Glinda's name, he goes, Glinda, which was funny. Michelle Yeoh, who plays the dean there, Madame Morabel, she is pretty much, supposedly you could say the villain of the film. And you also have Jeff Goldblum, who portrays the Wizard, which that was great casting to cast Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. Just the soundtrack to the film is just great, from Popular to Defying Gravity. And I actually did buy the soundtrack on vinyl for my sister for Christmas, to which she saw the film and she really loved it. But Wicked is a fantastic film. It's a masterpiece. After the second film comes out next year, hopefully get a chance to see the Broadway musical, because I heard nothing but great things about the Broadway show. But the sequel is scheduled for next year in November. It's going to be called Wicked for Good. And the film is now the highest grossing musical film adaptation of all time. And it's the highest grossing musical film in Universal's history. And it's also the sixth highest grossing film of this year. And right now, it has made $634 million at the box office. So it's a huge, huge hit. So, but Wicked, if you haven't seen it, highly would recommend it. Masterpiece of a film. So that's my number 2. And now for my number 1. My number 1 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine is just so much fun. Really enjoy, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Hugh Jackman as Logan Wolverine. I thought they had a very, good chemistry in this film. You got Deadpool and his funny lines, and at the beginning of the film, we see him having Logan's corpse, which was funny, and how the way in that scene, he portrays that. Also, the fight scene in the opening credits was just absolutely hilarious, where it's playing Bye 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 by NSYNC, and Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool suit, he's just going bye bye bye. That was funny. And I thought Mr. Paradox, I thought he did a good job here. He's played by Matthew Macfadyen. I thought he did good in the role. Of course, you have Marina Baccarin reprising her role as Vanessa Carlyle, who is now Wade Wilson's former fiance. And Cassandra Nova, who was played by Emma Corrin, she, I thought, did very good in the role. Of course, Cassandra Nova is the twin sister of Charles Xavier, Professor X. And, just her, the powers that she has, she has these telekinetic and telepathic powers. And we get to see Wolverine, we get to see Logan, Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine suit with the mask, which looked badass. And you got Madonna's, like a prayer song in there. And it was also really cool on how the film showed several variants of Deadpool. Like, of course, you have Dogpool, who is very cute. You also have Lady Pool, who is played by Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively. And you also have Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's kids in the film, which they portrayed Kid Pool and Baby Pool. And you also see Head Pool, who was voiced by Nathan Fillion. Matthew McConaughey, all right. He ends up voicing Cowboy Pool. So, pretty good showcasing of different variants of Deadpool here. Of course, you have Jon Favreau. He reprises his role as Happy Hogan, Harold Hogan. So, but Deadpool and Wolverine, fun film, definitely worth checking out. So if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch. So that is my number 1 favorite film of this year. So just to say, my top 10 favorite films of this year again. Number 10, Monkey Man. Number 9, Beetlejuice. Number 8, Venom: The Last Dance. Number 7, Inside Out 2. Number 6, Twisters. Number 5, Saturday Night. Number 4, Abigail. Number 3, The Substance. 2, Wicked. And number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine. But anyway, that's it for my top 10 favorite films of this year. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And, if you liked my films that I put on my top 10, let me know. I would like to hear what your top 10 favorite films of this year are. Post it in the comments down below. And be sure to give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And I will see you all later tonight with the Monday Night Raw review. I took a break from reviewing the shows last week because, of course, Christmas week. But I will be back tonight with the Monday Night Raw review. It's the final Monday Night Raw on cable TV before it goes to Netflix next Monday. So stay tuned later tonight for the review. So see you all later.